Do you want to know how passion made this introvert famous? It is in Bocchi the Rock, arguably the best music anime this decade has ever seen, that we witness how the biggest socially anxious introverted girl became one of, if not, the most popular guitarist in all of anime. Bocchi the Rock follows the story of a lonely, easily panicking, absurdly socially deprived high school girl named Hitori Goto, or as many people call her, Bocchi. But how did she get here? Performing on stage in front of hundreds of people in her world and leaving a lasting impression on millions in our world. This is the story of Bocchi the Rock, how passion made an introvert famous. In the first episode, we're introduced to our protagonist, Bocchi, when she was in middle school. She gives a little monologue as to how crazily socially anxious she is. She always stammers when she tries to speak, she's really bad at keeping eye contact, and a life as the archetypal introvert just seems to fit her best, is what she says to herself. Until one sudden moment when she tunes into a television program where she sees a popular band member giving a little speech on how he was once an introvert, but says that a band is a place where even introverts can shine. Bocchi immediately bursts out of her seat, determined and motivated by what that band member just said, and asks her dad all of a sudden if she could use his guitar. Bocchi thinks to herself that maybe even someone like her can shine if she's in a band. From that point onward, she made a promise to herself that she will learn to play the guitar, form a band at school, and play at the culture festival to have everyone go crazy for her. I love this enthusiasm and her display of passion, and I was so ready to see how big of a change her character was going to be. 3-year time skip goes by and my expectations were subverted hilariously with a shot of her unconfident expression. This was going to be a realistic but comedic journey where we see the slow but steady development of Bocchi battling through her social anxiety. Over the past 3 years, Bocchi has been learning to play the guitar for 6 hours a day so she can play in front of people. That's well over 6,000 hours over the course of 3 years. The result? Middle school ended and she never played a single note for them, let alone perform once at the culture festival. She never put together members for a band and never made a single friend. All these things she couldn't do in 3 whole years. Despite not being able to attract a single soul to speak to her in person, she's still very passionate about the guitar. She has her very own music cubbyhole, she has acquired more equipment, she uploads her own original works online and has garnered a decent following. But now she's in high school and has to form a band or die trying. In a twist of fate, Bocchi runs into a bubbly and very extroverted girl named Nijika. Nijika's in a bit of a predicament and so happens to need a guitarist to play for her band today. After seeing Bocchi with her guitar, Nijika begs Bocchi to see if she could join her band. While this may seem like the perfect scenario for Bocchi to be in, she hasn't spoken to anyone in so long that she almost forgets how to speak. This is Ryo. She's the bassist for Nijika's band named Kessoku Band. When it comes time for them to practice playing together for the first time, we learn that while Bocchi might be an excellent solo guitarist, she's horrible at playing with fellow live performers. In a band, it's super important to be in sync with your peers, but Bocchi has social anxiety and can't make eye contact, so she'll be inclined to rush ahead of the others. To deal with Bocchi's social anxiety, Ryo and Nijika humorously lets her play inside a cardboard box for this performance, as that mimics her music cubbyhole. During her first ever performance with Ryo and Nijika, she isn't able to perform at her best, let alone shine on stage. But the fact that she can play with other live performers makes it even more enjoyable than playing solo. The enjoyment of playing with Nijika and Ryo, their acceptance of her awkward character, and their belief in her skills. This gives Bocchi all the confidence she needs to get her to be more socially active. After her first ever performance, she boldly goes out of her way, finally leaving her cardboard shell, and dramatically declares that she will be brave enough to say hello to her classmates. You can't help but be proud and root for her growth. It's a very real and honest first step to tackling social anxiety. The next crucial and key event in building Bocchi's confidence is the introduction of our next Kessoku band member, Kita. Before joining the band, however, Kita initially wasn't willing to join Bocchi's band. Despite how upsetting that would have been to Bocchi, she doesn't fall back into her usual slump. Instead, she's really passionate about expressing how great her band is and is speaking her heart out, convincing Kita to join. Bocchi leads Kita to the band's studio to show around, and that's when we come across Nijika and Ryo on the way. It was then that we realized that Kita already had some history between Nijika and Ryo. After reconciling with what happened between them previously, all the band members go over the next few episodes bonding with each other and honing their skills in their respective instruments. Nijika is the drummer, Ryo is the bassist, Bocchi is the second guitarist, and Kita is our main vocalist slash guitarist. In the later episodes, Bocchi finally found the missing puzzle that started to unshackle her chains of self-doubt. She stumbled across a street performer bassist named Kikuri. It was thanks to her that Bocchi was finally pushed out of her comfort zone and had to perform for the first time on the street. The beginning of her performance was not bad, but it was still subpar. Her eyes were closed during the performance and she had self-doubting voices running in her head. To break this tension though, one of the spectators interjected her thoughts with some words of encouragement. "You can do it." It was at this moment Bocchi realized that she never had enemies in the first place. With her eyes now open, she could play the guitar to her heart's content. This is when her playing became more stable and she was playing with all her passion. To me, that realization hit hard. Sometimes we are our own worst enemy, overthinking how others might judge us, but more often than not, we find support in places we least expect it. With all of the puzzle pieces coming together and Bocchi's social anxiety becoming more tolerable, we witness one of the most satisfying and rewarding moments in not just Bocchi the Rock, but in all of anime. As the band started off their next performance for their original song, Guitar, Loneliness and the Blue Planet, the beginning of their performance wasn't spectacular. In fact, it was a little mediocre. Bocchi was able to point this out immediately. Nijika's drumming feels a little slow, Kita is making mistakes she normally didn't make in practice, and Ryo and Nijika aren't in sync at all. They're all not playing the way they usually do. We can also see the reaction from the crowd. Most of them are just staring at their phones, not engaged with the band's performance. The two of Bocchi's fans had a little concerned look on their faces. The first song comes to an end and the audience is left a little underwhelmed. But despite the mediocre performance, Bocchi took the biggest step up in conquering her social anxiety, and on the spur of the moment, passionately jammed her heart out for a smooth segue into their next song. She, in turn, stole everyone's gaze despite might not wanting to attract attention initially. Her passion and not wanting to let her fans down, as well as playing to the best of her ability, pulled through in that moment. I find this moment to be beautiful as that tells us that no matter how shaky things may seem, if we stay true to what we love, then passion can carry us through even the toughest of performances. There's a lot to the story of Bocchi the Rock that I glossed over since I mainly wanted to capture the moments where Bocchi was really nervous but pulled through regardless because of her passion in the guitar. At the end of the series, the audience is left with a nice closure where Bocchi is finally able to achieve her dreams of performing at the high school culture festival. More importantly, she is performing with the band members who are her close friends and accept her for who she is. While she's still battling through her social anxiety, it's a significant improvement from how she was in episode 1. In all fairness, social anxiety is not something that can be quickly dealt with, and I really like how realistic and genuine the studio of Bocchi the Rock portrayed it. There are more amazing scenes where Bocchi is really passionate about her craft, but if you are curious to find out about that, then I highly recommend watching the show to enjoy the full experience. Bocchi's passion in the guitar got her to where she is now in terms of her skill and achievements. She has touched the hearts of hundreds in her school performance and millions more in the medium of anime. In the end, Bocchi's story is about finding strength to be yourself through your passion, no matter how daunting the world around you may seem. Her rise to popularity as arguably the most popular guitarist in all of anime isn't just about overcoming her introversion, it's her drive to achieve the unimaginable. And that's why I love Bocchi the Rock, because it reminds us that passion, no matter how quiet it is, can change our lives.